Welcome to Cosmic Channels. Open minds on cosmic lines. The show streams live Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time on YouTube and Twitch. Tune in then for your chance to share your tale or your theories. The number is 1-833-703-0424. The Cosmic Channels are open. Welcome to Cosmic Channels. Please call 1-833-703-0424.
I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
I'm Dan.
All right, Cosmic Channels are back. Minor, well, I would say major technical difficulties.
Minor.
Major cosmic meltdown.
Cosmic.
Yeah.
We got hit by fucking cosmic rays, neutrinos, you name it.
It's that goddamn Star of Bethlehem's fault.
Yeah, we got fucked up by that. But we're back. I thought my computer with my hard drive was toast. I thought we were toasted, but we missed a few calls. So if you were one of those people that call right back. I see we missed 3, so that's my bad. You can blame me. You can beak me after, or beak me now. Beak me whenever you want. Or you can beak.
Beak him in the morning, beak him in the afternoon, beak him in the evening, beak him for supper time.
Throw
Or
up
you
the
can call in and beak them live.
Beak me alive.
1-833-703-0424. We're taking all calls tonight. We've taken a lot of dream calls, so we're trying to steer clear from dream calls for a little bit. But we want to hear your thoughts on your favorite conspiracies. If you've got theories on life and the unknown and alien contact, or if you've seen Bigfoot or any other cryptid or had a weird encounter, call, let us know. We want to hear it.
Someone called at the very start of that. Here we go. Welcome to Cosmic Channels.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Everett. I'm calling from Colorado, the Front Range, just north of Denver.
Right on.
Heck yeah, but I just have a short but sweet UFO sighting for you guys.
Yeah,
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it for sure.
Yeah, so now I was living in Loveland, and my girlfriend and I had a top floor apartment, and we were watching a meteor shower. This was July 27th, and so we were just spending some time outside on the balcony looking up, and she was the one who saw it, and I thought I was like losing my mind at first, but she saw a big triangle with 6 lights, and like perfect triangle formation. You could see the lights, and you could actually see like the outline. It was almost like it was cloaked. You could almost see through it, but you could see the outline of something there. And anyways, it flew over totally silent and was moving. And we just kind of stood there trying to fathom what we just saw. And that would have been crazy if that was just the end of it. But then not but 20 minutes later, it literally flew back going the opposite direction at about half the altitude. So we got a really clear look of it. And it was like, it was so totally clear. You could see the silver color of it. It was like perfect triangle shape, and totally silent. And I just, I know like Department of Defense is pretty active in Colorado, so that was my first thought, but just wouldn't understand why they're flying over, a residential area so low. So I don't know.
What? So it was silver color, triangle shape. How big do you think it was?
Yep. Man, so I took all these notes down right after I saw it.
Nice.
But our best guesstimation was like 100 feet across, so pretty freaking big.
That's big, yeah.
And Denver International Airport's just down the way, and we were watching planes fly over all night, so there's no misidentification there. Like, it was pretty clear, so pretty wild. And it's actually what made me find alien theorists theorizing in the first place, because I looked up alien after that incident on podcasts, and
boom,
there we go. So it's what led me here.
That's awesome.
Now, was there any like strange? Did you hear any sounds at all that you could identify, or was it completely silent?
Nope, completely silent. Absolutely no sound.
Even on the high pass, no sound. Low pass, no sound.
Yep. First time was pretty high up there, about a plane's altitude, I would guess. And then the second time was about half that altitude and still completely silent.
Yeah, that's a very very common with UFO sightings is silent. Like the propulsion system is whatever it is silent. There's no like exhaust or like rumble or.
Yeah, and so on that note, I've been digging a lot into it since that incident. I think about it like every day practically.
Nice.
But I urge you to look up on Google, if you look up a U.S. patent, there is a U.S. patent which is 10144532B2, and you can find this patent, and it's by the U.S. Navy for a craft using an inertial mass reduction device.
Dude, here it is.
Patent you can, yep.
I see it. Internal mass reduction device compromises of an inner resonant cavity wall, an outer resonant cavity wall, and microwave emitters. The electrical charge outer resonant cavity wall and the electrical insulated inner resonant cavity wall form a resonant cavity. The microwave emitters create high-frequency electromagnetic waves throughout the resonant cavity, causing the resonant cavity to vibrate in an accelerated mode and create a local polarized vacuum outside the outer resonant cavity wall. 2016.
Yep, and then there's, under the same inventor, there's another patent, because you can see other patents under the same inventor, and the other one is for a high-frequency gravitational wave generator, so I thought that was pretty wild. But when I saw that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, oh, shit, what I saw.
That is pretty cool. I mean, people have patents about a whole bunch of stuff that never comes to fruition, but that doesn't mean that this one has not been.
Yeah, no, rather interesting. But that's pretty much it.
And like no loss of time or anything like that on your end, just the sighting?
Nope. Yep, just the sighting, and nothing like it since.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. We talked on a previous episode, a recent one, about triangle UFOs, like delta shape like that, and they seem to be quite a common sighting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can find handfuls of videos that appear to be pretty authentic, but
yeah, it's tough to tell in today's age, but this is not the first time we've heard it, so it's super cool.
So before we let you go, what are your thoughts on it? Is it do you think it's something from outside of Earth, or is it like these patents might say, and it's an advanced craft? What are your thoughts on it?
Man, I don't know. Just the fact that it's been seen all over the world, it's like I have no idea, because that's totally something freaking U.S. government would do, or I'm open-minded. I totally believe in aliens and that they visit all the freaking time. So, man, I want to believe it's aliens, but knowing how active Department of Defense is in Colorado, I totally think it might have been something government-related.
Some new spy plane or new classified project or something.
Yeah, something.
Either way, super cool.
But I'm open either way. But I really appreciate you guys doing this and giving us an outlet. So
yeah, man. Thanks, Everett. Appreciate the story.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
That's cool.
Interesting with those Delta UFOs.
Just the casual sightings of people. It's like, oh, what's that? Oh, it's coming back. Oh, we got a good look at it, and like no one's screaming it's aliens or not. They're like, that's super weird. But we got another caller.
It's just a weird craft. I mean,
yeah. Let's bring in one more caller here. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey, I made it through.
You did. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is James. I'm calling from Clearfield, Utah.
Right on, James.
You guys talking UFOs today?
Anything weird?
We're talking, anything weird.
Well, I guess it's kind of weird, not super weird, but I've got a little UFO story.
Fucking bring it on. Let's hear
my
it.
wife and I, about a year ago, my wife and I went on a little camping trip down to Dugway, Utah, also known as Area 52, the Dugway Proving Ground. It's like a government kind of facility, owned property. They just do a bunch of testing out there.
Right.
But there's a lot of camping around it. So we went camping, and come nighttime, my wife and I were just chilling around the fire. And she was the first to notice it, but she noticed way up in the sky, there was like a flashing light. It's hard to tell because it was nighttime, hard to tell how high up it was, but cruising altitude of a jet's probably 30,000 feet. So I'd say it was probably almost at least 20,000 feet at least. So the flashing light was weird because it would flash bright once, and then it'd be probably a 3-second delay, and then it would flash a dimmer flash, and it was kind of a pulsating. They go bright, dim, dim, bright. But another weird thing is that the light would kind of move around. So we were tracking where it was in the sky based on the stars around it. So it'd flash once, and then the next time it'd flash, it'd be down and to the left a little bit. And then the next time it'd be up and to the right, and so on. We watched that for probably a half hour, kind of around the same spot. It was just kind of moving around. And then just like a flip of a switch, we saw it started flashing going across the sky. And it was kind of cruising at that point, and then it just kind of dipped off and went over the horizon, and we never saw it again. But it was pretty wild to see.
No doubt. When you say it was flashing, like was there specific colors it was flashing?
It was only white. So
only white.
It's hard to say. It was just white, just a white flash, and it was like a pulsate kind of flash. So it's hard to say with it being pitch black that, I mean, I guess it could have been like a weather balloon or whatnot, because I couldn't see what it was. But there is a familiar or a similar report. You can find the video on YouTube. It's like a news report from Salt Lake City, and somebody described seeing about the same thing. So it's just pretty weird.
So it seemed like when the lights flashed, it almost like it was like did it look like it was like teleporting, like moving really quickly, or?
When it started cruising across the sky, yes. Not like the Tic Tac UFO, how they describe it, zipping here and there within, less than a second.
Yeah.
It wasn't that fast, but it was when it went across the sky and over the horizon, if it was as high as I thought it was a hell of a lot faster than any kind of jet or anything that I think we have. And I grew up right next to Hill Air Force Base, so I'm used to seeing jets and stuff all the time. And it was a lot faster than any of those. So
now, is it pretty? I'm going on your maybe it being a weather balloon. Is it standard for weather balloons to have lights like that?
I don't think so. And also, I mean, you think with the weather balloon, it would go up, and if it caught a jet stream or whatever, that would kind of describe why it went across the sky so fast. But it was hanging out in the same area for at least a half hour, maybe even longer. And then it just chose to zip. So it's not like it was hanging out in the jet stream and not moving, and then all of a sudden it caught on. It was just kind of doing its own thing, it felt like. It almost felt like it was just kind of surveying different spots in the sky. And then it's like it said, fuck it, I'm out of here. I'm over it.
Took
and
off.
Then it just zipped off.
So it seemed like it accomplished a goal and then sped away.
Yeah, exactly. Super weird. It definitely... Another reason I don't really think it was a weather balloon is it almost felt like it, or seemed like it had a mission, like it was doing every movement with purpose.
Right.
And then when it decided it was time to go, which a weather balloon doesn't do that. So
what made you think that it was doing, like it had a purpose? What do you characterize that as?
That's hard to say. Maybe it was just a feeling more than anything. But just that it stayed in the same area for so long and then kind of zipped off, I don't know. It just kind of seemed like it was, but I guess there isn't really anything that it did that, made it seem like it was on a mission. But
yeah, didn't like shoot a beam down or something, but it seemed to float around and then take off at a rapid pace.
My fucking fingers were crossed. I was saying, take me aliens, but no beam, no nothing, unfortunately, that I know of.
Oh, that's
do you remember?
cool.
Do you remember about what time it was and what direction you were facing?
Yeah, it was about 12:30. 12:30 at night, obviously, or in the morning. And let me orient myself a little bit. We would have been facing. We saw it. It would be southwest.
Southwest. Do you know the angle?
I don't.
Like relative to the ground, like where you were facing?
To probably a 45 degree angle from where we were.
45 degree angle. Okay.
Hey, that's
now
genuine UFO.
Yeah.
And had you ever, like, being by, seeing objects in the sky, had you ever seen anything move or like act like that at night?
No, this was, I mean, it stands out in my memory just because I had never seen anything like that before, and like I said, I grew up right next to an Air Force base and whatnot. And it's not like, living in the city, it's not like you can see the sky all that well anyway at night because the light pollution and whatnot. But, I've definitely never seen anything like it. It was very odd. It was out of place. My wife and I were both freaking out, but it was.
It couldn't have been a satellite. Are you familiar with seeing satellites in the sky before?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So I go hunting and camping all the time, and you're sitting at the fire. You can track a satellite going across the sky super easy. It's definitely not a satellite, especially since it stayed in the same spot for so long.
No kidding. Yeah.
And then decided to zip off. Yeah.
Yeah, where satellites are in a constant motion.
No, definitely not a satellite.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Yeah, they just kind of streak in a perfect line across the sky.
I don't know. It sounds like a bona fide UFO to me.
Oh yeah, jealous.
Right. See, and I'm one of those I want to believe kind of guys for sure. But being so close to that military base, it's definitely a UFO for sure. But I can't say whether it was alien or whether it was
alien origin
who knows
or
what.
Yeah,
U.S. government
advanced next gen tech that we don't know about yet. Either one's still cool though. Similar to the first story. That's awesome.
Yeah, still cool. It was something that I'll remember forever. It was a cool experience for sure.
Awesome, man. Well, if you see another one, make sure you let us know first.
Hell yeah, sounds good. I'll let you guys know first.
Sounds good, brother. Have a good night.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yep, bye.
Boom, 2 back-to-back UFOs. Love it. Just people just seeing stuff like can't explain it. I watch the sky all the time. Doesn't seem like it fits.
Well, especially when you're that close to an Air Force base and you're going to be getting used to seeing, jets and stuff in the sky at all the times. I mean, I'm pretty fairly confident that if I went outside right now and saw what he would describe to me, I would be in the same amount of awe because I'm like, there's nothing around where I am that behaves like that in the sky.
No, I would with
that.
I'd be jumping out the windows if I seen something like that. It'd be awesome. Anyways, got one more caller. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey, this is Carmelo. It's nice to be on.
Nice to have you on. Where are you calling from, Carmelo?
I'm calling from Florida.
Florida. Right on. What do you got for us?
I was listening earlier today to one of your older episodes about the dream stuff and having crazy sleep paralysis. And I used to get sleep paralysis all the time when I was younger, and they could be pretty freaking crazy from my experience. And one time I was sleeping and I had, woken up, but I never was able to move my body.
Yep.
And it felt like somebody was standing on top of me, choking me. And the more I tried to fight it, the harder it felt like I was being choked and I wasn't able to wake up. And one of the most craziest things about it was that I couldn't scream. I couldn't fight. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't move. So I started doing research about it, and I found out it was sleep paralysis. And that's all I wanted to share with you guys.
No, it's we've had many people call in with similar tales, and it I've never had it. Dan has had, but it's a terrifying phenomenon more than anything. Is what we've come to know.
I think it has something to do with breathing.
Breathing, breathing during the night, during your REM sleep or something, not getting enough breath or something, maybe?
Yeah, not getting enough breath. I don't think anybody was out to get me, but it still was surreal.
Yeah, for sure. As long as it's not an actual poltergeist or something, you wake up with marks on your body, then you should be good. But
yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, man.
All right, guys.
Hey.
Well, have a good one.
Thanks, man. Talk to you again.
Hey, thanks for the call.
Bye.
Bye.
It's terrifying if you have one.
I don't fuck with sleep paralysis. I never hope I never get it.
No, I never. But never wish it on anyone after hearing all the stories. But if you got a tale about Bigfoot, UFOs, alien abductions,
I think I'm gonna really this summer.
Try to get sleep paralysis.
I'm gonna put some time in seriously sky watching. Making a point to go out every night it's clear, maybe even for 45 minutes or something, and just listen to music can just keep those eyes on the skies. Because I wonder how many times I'm missing stuff like this.
Dude,
because
so much in the city and stuff.
yeah,
I feel like, there's always like, oh, there's this weather phenomenon or this space weather, and you look out, you're like, I can't see shit because there's the glow of the city. But we got another caller. Let's bring him in. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Jericho or Shadow RC?
Hey, buddy.
yeah. What's up, Jericho?
Good to hear from you again.
I have a possible El Nasty sighting.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yes.
It could have been some teenagers, but I don't.
We'll start
I don't
with
know.
El Nasty. If we get to teenagers, we'll see what happens.
So, I live in a small town in southeastern Kentucky, right? Like I said before, in the other time I called, it's by a national forest.
Yep.
And there's some trails that me and some friends like to go down have since we were kids, and we go splunking because
Like cave, like
No,
kinda
caving?
caving. Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't Kentucky has a lot of caves, right? It's a pretty big cave network.
everywhere.
Kentucky or Tennessee?
Like when we say splunking, are you going for like long journeys or just like day journeys into the caves?
Oh, maybe just a few hours.
A few hours, right on. I was thinking maybe it might be getting onto a descent style story here.
Yeah, you guys had
no,
Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the weird thing about Kentucky. It just has really huge
Just
cave
giant
networks.
caves.
There's a lot of caves.
Anyway, sorry to cut you off. You were
But,
spelunking?
Yeah. So to get to this cave, it's about 3.5 miles of trails you have to drive down, and there's this little dirt parking spot. I was saying that because my car is the only one that has been pulled into this parking spot. It's just me and one of my friends that's coming with me. And we go into the cave and we get pretty deep inside, and maybe an hour in, and we're just messing around, checking out the water and everything that's flowing in because it just rained the day before. And out of nowhere, we just started hearing like rocks just whoop into the water, like someone's throwing them.
Yeah.
'Cause these are pretty like hefty rocks, like big splashes into the water, like because this cave will fill up sometimes. You can't go into it.
Oh, yeah. If it rains
So
too
there's
much.
like this pool of, yeah. So there's like this pool of water like 10 feet away from us, and there's just like this big like fist-sized rock just lands next to us, makes this big splash, scares the absolute shit out of us. And we're looking around and we don't see anyone, and you have to have flashlights in here, otherwise it's pitch black. And we both just stop talking, and we just hear like heavy breathing. And shut the fuck up. And we're looking around, and we don't hear it anymore. We turn our lights back on. Just look around, and nothing's there. And we go back out of the cave, and my car is still the only one there.
Oh,
But
fuck.
there is a farm about 1.5 miles away. When you come halfway up the trail, there's another trail that goes down to the farm, and they have kids. So always been trying to tell myself it was just the kids and they're messing with us, but I don't know. It was still pretty scary.
But you're saying it's pitch black if you don't have a light. So either these kids have been waiting in there for you with no light, just
They could
chilling.
have heard it. And then, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time something like that has happened to me. But,
Do you
and
know
it ended up being,
how deep's this
like,
cave network? Like, do you know how deep that cave was that you're going to, or is it one of those ones that kind of goes on for
if we weren't just like taking it in as we went, if we just try to like power through it probably would have took maybe 2 hours to get to the other end.
Right.
However, there's another exit on the other side too.
So
okay, so it's two-way, like a way in and a way out, separate of itself. So it's something could have come in from the other
Yeah,
side.
there's a main entrance, and then on the other side of like I don't want to say mountain, it's like a mixture between a hill and a mountain. It's pretty big.
right.
But you go through and it comes out in a little opening on the other side.
But so it's you and a buddy in a cave. You hear like rocks being thrown into the water, making an obvious like splash sound. And then
We've seen the rock.
Oh, you've seen the splash
Like,
in your headlights.
Didn't see it go through we didn't see it go through the air, but we seen it land right in front of us. We seen it hit the water. We were looking at the water.
Well, and we know that's to me, like when you explain that, because I was thinking right away, like there's like the three main culprits in Kentucky that I was thinking about would have been like some sort of unidentified flying creature, the rare bearilla, half gorilla, half bear, or Bigfoot. And now that you're talking about the stones being thrown, like that is stereotypical Bigfoot encounter. That would be my number one runner, is that you potentially were in a cave with Bigfoot. It's dope as hell.
Well, maybe not even Bigfoot, but like, you ever seen the movie The Descent? It's little fucking mole people.
Oh no, don't tell me that. I enjoy spelunking now. I'd rather it be Bigfoot.
Well, make sure you got like at least a little weapon or something, just in case.
Don't go in those caves alone.
Yeah, never go alone. 100%. Just always go.
That didn't work in The Descent. There was like 4 people in that movie.
Okay, well, The Descent's a Hollywood version of it, but maybe maybe not like a creature that's going to murder you like that, but like some type of like unidentified something that can throw rocks.
That's dude, that's 100% Bigfoot. What was happening is they were getting a little too close for comfort. Bigfoot threw a couple, like a Sasquatch probably threw a couple warning rocks, and worked perfectly. They got a little spooked and decided to get out of there. Which then also brings up my question: is Bigfoot able to see in real low light?
It's possible.
I would assume so. As if it's any type of like a grew up out in that, I think it would be pretty well adapted to seeing in low light.
There was no light at all. We were about 45 minutes to an hour into this cave.
Yeah, deep darkness. Huh. That's freaky.
And we had 2 headlamps and 2 normal flashlights, and we could still hardly see.
Huh.
I'm just saying that they would probably, like, the way that their eyes are adapted, they're probably able to make more use of like the ambient light. So even if you weren't able to see, but you would still have your lamps on, they would probably be more effective for them to be able to see. Like they would probably be able to see more than you, because their eyes are taking in a lot more light from that light source.
Yeah.
So possibly.
I mean, like I said, the only reason I don't full-heartedly believe it was a Bigfoot sighting, because I've had people come in the cave and do that to us before, but there was no other vehicles around, so I figured I'd call and share.
So if there's no other vehicles around, then other than outside of them potentially being the like farmers' kids, how far would someone would have walked to like fuck with you guys?
So this cave is in the national forest, so which is right outside my town. You have to drive about 20 minutes to get to these trails outside of the town itself. And then there's I don't want to say a main road, but it's your typical like asphalt road with the 2 yellow lines. People still drive down it. There's homes down there, but it's about 3.5 miles off that road.
Seems improbable that someone's going to walk that far but maybe someone could have came from the other side of the cave, as you said. You just don't know because you never seen any other light. So either someone would have to been trying to play a prank, right? They would have been with intention gone in there and like hid, knowing someone's going to come in.
I tell you what, though, as soon as we seen that rock, we fucked it.
Oh, dude, I'd be out of there instantly. Wouldn't check around.
And this is about midway through last year, right before it started to turn to fall.
Right. Awesome, man. Well, hey, we appreciate the story. It's pretty freaky. If you go to that cave again, make sure to...
Oh, I've not been back.
Yeah, but if you do, take a weapon. Don't go alone. Buddy system, buddy.
Oh, for sure.
All right, man. We're gonna move on to the next caller.
All right, see you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thanks for the call.
Like a cavernous Bigfoot, low light Bigfoot. Imagine that.
Yeah. Kentucky is a really weird state that it has it is notable for its amount of caves. Like it has the mammoth, like I said before, or I mentioned before, with the Mammoth National Park, like the Mammoth Cave National Park. It's one of the largest cave systems in the world that we know of.
That's probably where the Descent was shot.
Well, I don't know.
Or
about
supposed,
that, but
or supposed to be. That's cool. Though. One of the biggest cave networks in the world. All right, another caller here. Let's bring him in. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Just hanging out, taking some calls. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good. Jeremy from Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Oh, getting closer to getting out Dan's way.
Yeah, what's up, Dan? If you want to come to the best part of Virginia, let me know. I'll treat you right.
No, I've been to Virginia Beach.
The real Virginia.
Anyways, what you got a story for us tonight?
Yeah, I got a story and I guess a question for you guys.
Sure.
Whatever you want first.
Does this question go with the story, or does the story go with the question?
No, it's actually totally different stuff.
Okay, let's start with the story.
I got a ghost story.
Let's start with the ghost story.
All right, cool. All right, so it's a ghost story, and it's been a really long time since it happened, but take it with a grain of salt since I was a kid, I guess. But anyway, when I was a kid growing up, I would have these ghost experiences where I would see an apparition in my room, in the corner of my room, like almost every night. It was like a full-on Indian with a headdress and everything, like full detail and like some vague color to it, but it was mostly like faded out, and he would just be standing in the corner of my room while I would sleep. And sometimes I would I could not handle it. Like I would freak out and leave my room and sleep in my parents' room on the floor with my dog, just so I would get the hell out of there and feel safe. And then that would that would do away with it, and I wouldn't see it anymore. But one time was pretty intense when I went into my parents' room and I was sleeping with my dog. I looked up and it was in the corner of my parents' room, and it was super sketchy.
Kind of followed you rooms?
Yeah, because it was normally just in my room, and I would leave. Like I would close my eyes, put a blanket over my head, run out of the room to my parents' room, just because it was like, it never had like a bad feeling with it, but it was just the fact that I was being watched while I slept was very uncomfortable.
Now, the first thing that pops into my head is that potentially that your house was built on like some sort of Native American burial ground or something, right? Some sort of sacred
That's
land,
my thought too.
Or unceded land.
That's my thought as well.
That's disturbing. At some sort
where
of spirit.
were you living at the time? Like state-wise?
Oh, it's Virginia Beach, Virginia. I've lived in the same house my whole life. Yeah, and my grandma's house. Like we've been over there and like dug up like arrowheads all the time. Like, and she doesn't live that far away.
Right.
So it's definitely not.
So
out of the
when you
it's
say headdress, are you talking about? You're talking about like a what is it? Apache? I wouldn't say probably Apache headdress. Is that what you're talking about? Like the big long one that everybody thinks of?
Yeah, full on feathers, headdress, everything. But the weirdest thing about it, well, I guess not the weirdest thing, but the most the best thing about it was that it wasn't it never had a bad feeling about it. It was always it wasn't comforting at all, but it was just maybe it was just maybe it was serving a purpose or something. I don't know.
Like it wasn't ominous,
but
so you didn't feel
no, it
afraid
definitely
of
there was
it.
no bad feeling about it. But the weirdest thing was I always brushed it off as that I was just a kid and imagining stuff until maybe a couple years ago. I was talking to my parents, and my mom was like, "I don't mean to be weird." I think we were going through baby pictures or something. She's like, "I don't mean to be weird, but I used to think I used to hate leaving you alone in that room because I felt like something was watching you." And I was like, "No way! What did you think?" And she told me exactly what I saw, and that was the weirdest thing.
Oh, weird.
And then the weirdest or the scariest part about it was when I saw it in the corner of my room, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to run to my parents' room. I'm too tired. So I put the blanket over my head, just like anybody, typical
as
kid
you would.
stuff.
Yep.
and I was like typical wuss, and I had the weirdest feeling that it came it would came closer. So I took my blanket off, and it was halfway across the room. Put the blanket over my head, and then like a couple minutes went by. Pulled the blanket back off, and it was literally standing right, like as close as it could be to the bed, like looking straight down on me. It was crazy.
Fuck.
It was intense. But the thing is like, as soon as I got like maybe like 14 years old or something, like just 100% stopped.
Kind of
So that goes back to the whole thing, is like what you guys talk about all the time, is like, is it the thinning of the void when you're younger? Do you just mature out of it, or is it just your imagination stops? So I always chalked it up to the imagination, but the thing that like restarted it for me is that when my mom said she saw the exact same stuff, like lurking around watching. So that kind of like
I know we always
rekindled
talk about, maybe with children that, they are kind of tapped into something, but I would imagine with adults and stuff that like periods of like great stress or stuff like that, like,
right.
Maybe you tap into this again, right? Even momentarily.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not 100% claiming anything, but I was just saying, like, it was a pretty intense thing that was going on for a little bit. So it's worth just mentioning, whether it was like a trick of the mind or not. But I mean, just the fact that there were tribes of Indians present like 500 years ago in this area, and then that was going on. And my grandma, we think that she has some Native American heritage, so it's kind of like might be an ancestor or something. I don't know. It's just cool to think about, because it doesn't happen anymore, so I could care less like talking about it. But it's just something cool to think back to.
Right, but it made enough of impact on your childhood that you've carried it forever.
Big time. That's what really sparked my whole interest in all this, because I was like I was, from a young age, I was like, this is too crazy. Like, really opened up the thought process to all the other good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, you nailed our theories too. It's either always two theories with ghosts. Either you're experiencing something like a thinning or like a crossover of their realm and ours, or it's a trick of the imagination, and once it gets into your brain, then you kind of start progressing it.
I'd like to hear like or whatever, if you could give like a real detailed description of the headdress, because I know in that area that would have been the area that the Powhatan Indians or Native Americans would have lived, but their headdresses differ from what the Apache one is. And I'm not sure if you're describing the Apache headdress, the one that goes all the way back and all the way down, like feathers out, or the Powhatan ones, which I've seen are kind of more straight up.
More like a crown, like a feathers up.
It's more like a feather work kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely feathered, and I can still see it vividly, but it wasn't longer than like shoulder length. It wasn't going down past the shoulders.
But did it radiate out, or did the feathers go straight up?
It went straight up, and then like a couple of the side went out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a cool story.
Yeah.
It's good that it didn't seem. It's good that it didn't seem ominous and didn't like terrify you. It was just kind of something that was.
Yeah, that's the only reason like I can tolerate it, because it wasn't like a bad vibe at all.
For sure. And you had a quick question, and then we're gonna move on to the next caller.
Yeah, of course, keep it rolling. But I just wanted to ask, mainly, I mean, I guess Dan, because he lives in the area. But have you ever heard of Edgar Casey, or the Edgar Casey ARE?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
have you ever
heard
been?
of Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet?
Yeah.
Or is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. You ever been down and checked out the?
He's on the list. We have him on the case file list for the other show.
Yeah, it's cool. I've always been intrigued by him, but never really. The ARE, which is the Association for Research and Enlightenment, is in Virginia Beach, in the north end of like the oceanfront area, and I went by there for the first time a couple weeks ago, and it was pretty intense. It's pretty cool. Yeah. I just thought it was something you guys would like. Like, it's all progressive type thinking of just like dreams and all that stuff. It's super cool. I got a couple books with like dates on them.
I think we mentioned him with
already...
the Akashic records. He was one of the kind of persons who kind of elaborated on his view of the Akashic records or his interpretation that he felt he had received during his enlightenment things.
Yeah, so I got a couple books on it, and I got a Graham Hancock book that I'm already diving into. It's pretty sweet. Just thought I'd let you guys know.
That's good shit. Yeah, it's definitely on the list for the other show, Alien Theorists. It's a fun topic, and it's requested a lot, so we'll definitely get to it.
Yeah. Cheers.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for calling in.
Yo. Yeah, thanks for picking up. Y'all have a good rest of your night.
You too. Bye.
Cheers, man. Thanks for the call.
Bye.
A non-ominous ghost. Sometimes nice to hear one.
Anonymous.
Non-ominous. Boom. Let me tell you something. The lines are flying tonight. We got another caller already. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm the one that called about mine and my wife's story from the Navy days.
You did? I did see that in the comments there.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and start with my wife.
Can you give us name and an area, or is that you got to keep classified?
Oh no, yeah, I can tell you. I'm Chris from Denver. I'm the one that called y'all a while ago about the DIA.
Oh, right.
Airport.
Yeah.
Remember.
And sorry, Chris, before you start, I just want to jump in. If anyone ever calls and you can't give your name, just say Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
From here on out.
Jason Bourne. Well, you can call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for dinner. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
But yeah. So I'll start with my wife. Well, she was an undesignated seaman at the time, so she didn't necessarily have a job, but she had a general job.
Okay.
So I'm sure Dan might know what I'm talking about. He might not.
Sucks.
If not, that's okay.
It sucks, Dan.
I just know undesignated sucks. It's like you're a D-seaman / you're a fucking deck worker. Like, that's what I remember.
Yeah, I was undesignated air at the time of my story as well, so I feel her pain and she feels mine. But so she was up on the 010 level and she was on watch, so she was looking through the binocs and everything like that. And she had just looked out and she had seen this light on the horizon kind of above it. And it was just kind of sitting there, right? It was kind of just sitting there stationary, but it had these tentacles almost coming from the bottom of it, moving around, whatever. So part of her job was to radio that to the bridge, and she had radioed. She was like, hey, this is what I see, whatever, what have you. And what is it? And they just went dead silent for a minute, and they were like, we don't know. And that was that. I guess they never spoke of it again, that she never heard anything back.
Fuck.
But then they reported it on the news recently. It was it was part of that gimbal footage that came out from the Theodore Roosevelt. I just wasn't sure if I could tell you all that part, but she kind of confirmed that I could. But it was the one that came from Theodore Roosevelt back in 2015, 2016.
Was it on the Roosevelt or the Nimitz one?
The Nimitz was 04, I believe, wasn't it?
It was on the Roosevelt one, and that's the story I have as well, because we were both on the Roosevelt at the same time. We were on deployment together. This was before we had gotten married.
Right. So,
but yeah,
is it the same video as the gimbal, or is it something similar off that ship?
Were they doing flight ops?
It was during. Was it during flight ops, Viv? No, it wasn't during. Hers wasn't during flight ops.
I would guess not. It's not at night, so I mean, we usually do flight ops at night.
Yeah.
Are there other ships in the area?
Yeah. The only other ships we had in the area were cruisers and destroyers, but they didn't.
Wasn't it a carrier group? I can't remember. The carrier group was out, or?
Yeah, we were actually out in the Gulf. We were on deployment at the time. We were in the Persian Gulf.
Oh, okay. So it was the whole carrier group.
Yeah, it was the whole strike group out there.
Okay.
And it was just there was a whole bunch of weird stuff that happened like that on deployment. And then I remember when that Theodore Roosevelt footage came out, me and her, we were like, we were on that deployment. What in the world?
No kidding.
But yeah, there was a whole bunch of weird stuff that went on that deployment, like UFO wise. Like I have a ghost story from that deployment, but I'll save that for another episode because I haven't called y'all in a while.
Fuck.
But it was weird. And then my story was, so I was in crash and salvage. So my job, I stayed on the flight deck the whole time during flight ops. And there was one night, I don't know if it was before or after her story, but I was sitting on the flight deck on my truck, and we were waiting for the last helo to land, because when the last helo landed, we were done. So me being the impatient, nicotine-addicted individual I was at the time and currently am, I was sitting there, and I'm just waiting. I'm looking out on the horizon for that white, red, red, because that's the beacon that the military helos use. It's like it's one white flash, then two red flashes, and then one white, and so on and so forth. But I'm looking out there for that, and then I see this white light, like maybe 2 hands above the horizon line, and it's just flashing in maybe half-second intervals, and it's just white. And it's flash, flash, flash. So I'm like, okay, that's not our helo. Maybe, I mean, it could be. Maybe it got damaged or something. Maybe it took on fire. But then I thought back, and I would have known, well, we would have known if it caught fire or if it like took enemy fire or something, because we had a plane that early on in the deployment, I can only tell y'all so much about it, but it had taken small arms fire, and we got notified immediately. So we had to stand by and be ready for it. So I was like, no, there's no way this helo took enemy fire. And I'm watching it, and then it becomes a solid white light, and it drops down maybe, if I had to guess, because it was probably like 2-3 miles out from us. And it drops down, if I had to guess, like I said, maybe 50 to 100 feet above the water. And it gets a little bit brighter, and then it starts flashing at shorter intervals, and it goes back up, and then it just shoots off into the sky and disappears. And I'm sitting there like, and I was barely signed off at the time, so I was like, I don't want to say anything to my driver or my senior because they're going to think I'm crazy, but I know for certain that I'm not the only one that just saw that.
No kidding.
And then maybe 30 to 45 minutes later, our helicopter landed. We were done for the night, and I was up for a majority of the night trying to figure out what the hell I had just seen.
Did you talk to anyone else about it, or you just kind of kept it to yourself?
I kind of kept it to myself, but I'd heard other people talking like throughout the deployment of other weird stuff they had seen. Like, hey, did y'all see this the other night? Or like, hey, a bunch of us saw a UFO the other night in the smoke pit. You know, like, what did you guys see? And they were like, there was obviously corroborating stories, but it's just one of those things that, you know, you're out on the water and you're gone for so long, you don't really want to talk about because people are going to think you're going crazy because you're stuck in a boat with 2,500 other people you hate. So.
Yeah, I could see that. Just people are probably looking for a chance to grill you. So if you give them ammo, you know, they're probably not going to let it down, even though you obviously seen something you couldn't explain.
Yeah, and then it's one of those things, like, if you bring certain things up, they're like, no, like, you're not going to talk about that because it's going to make the whole department look bad. It's going to make the crash crew look bad, whatever, what have you. So I was kind of like, I'm just going to go ahead and keep this one to myself. And then there was one night me and my wife were talking, and she was like, yeah, I saw, you know, something like a UFO on deployment. And when we had met early on, I kind of wanted to hold the fact that I was an alien theorist to myself because I didn't want to freak her out. And she told me that story. I was like, well, do I have a story for you?
That's great.
And yeah, it's just one of those things that's like,
I was gonna say, what's your theory on those two sightings? You think it's some type of unidentified enemy craft or American craft or ET craft or?
So I don't think it was like, because we were at the time, I think I can talk about it now, and if I can't, then I'll find out. But we were part of Operation Inherent Resolve, so we were fighting ISIS directly. So I know that they don't. Well, I would assume that they don't have any type of fighter jets or anything like that. So I'm not going to assume that it wasn't one of their fighter jets, but it's just the way that both of the crafts had performed in her story and mine. I don't think it was anything from like our planet or our dimension, depending on what your theory on aliens is.
Right.
Can you,
But
I don't know if you can tell us this or not, but can you tell us like whereabouts these sightings took place?
Hold on 1 second. My wife will be a little more well versed in that.
Sure.
Yeah, so they were in the Persian Gulf.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now-
so it's like, and we're not at war with Iraq or anything like that, and I know about the Iraqi Stargate theory and everything like that, but yeah, I don't know. What were you going to say, though, Braden? Sorry.
Well, I was just thinking that like it strikes me as odd, you know, that, and this is just me spitballing ideas here, is that, you know, we had a seemingly period of time where, you know, you were seeing lots of these UFOs and stuff, and then you're saying that you had a ghost story as well. I wonder if there was some sort of thinning of the veil in this area at that specific time, and maybe it had to do with the heightened conflict. I don't know, but it seems interesting to me that there's so much in that short period of time.
Well, if we have time, I can tell you all my ghost story really quick. It's kind of short and to the point, but I just don't know if we have another caller waiting or anything like that, and it might be able to help out with your theory. Okay, so it's the same setting. I was sitting on the flight deck. We were waiting for the final aircraft to land and everything like that, but we were sitting at the point, or like on an area of the aircraft carrier where you're fairly close to the bow of the ship, and on the bow on either side, like on the port and starboard side, there's these lookout positions, and they're just these little areas where you can stand, and they have a little compass type thing and a hatch to lead into the skin of the ship. So I'm sitting on the back of the truck looking around, whatever, just looking at the sights. Well, not really sights, because it was 10 o'clock at night and it's pitch black, but I'm looking out, and on the starboard side I see what looks to be a sailor in dungarees, which is the light blue top and the denim bell-bottom pants and the Dixie cover. So I was like, what in the world is that? Because there was nobody supposed to be at that area of the flight deck at the time, because we were launching a recovering aircraft, and that part of the flight deck is closed. So I'm like, okay. And, you know, whatever, what have you, the rest of the night goes on. And later on, I go down into the skin of the ship, and where my berthing was, like where we slept and everything, was right near that area. So I go in, and I'm getting ready for the night, and I go into the head and everything to change and get ready to go to bed. And against my better judgment, I start asking people like, hey, were any of y'all like messing around tonight or anything like that? And they were like, no, why? I was like, because I could have sworn that I saw somebody in a white Dixie cover with dungarees on hanging out in the starboard lookout, just like looking around. And they kind of just like, with that like freaked out, like almost scared, but not really response, were like, no, that wasn't us. And then a part I left out accidentally, because I told y'all in the comments I'm drinking homemade wine and beer.
Nice.
Is when I'd seen the ghost, it kind of made eye contact with me and then looked away and then just went into the skin of the ship and disappeared. And that was that. And that was on the same deployment that me and my wife had seen what we saw.
Huh. Got ghost and two different UFO sightings on the same ship on the same deployment?
Yes.
That's some weird shit. That's the two UFO stories I obviously find very intriguing, especially what anything to do with like military and like sighting UFOs, like on active missions, or like when fighter pilots give their accounts of like, yeah, I seen a UFO and it's fucking nuts and it jammed our radar.
Was this after they phased out dungarees, or before?
You said what?
Was this after they phased out the dungarees or before?
Oh, it was way after, because I joined in 2014 and I went on deployment in 2015.
So they were already in the BDUs. We were already, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, the N-dubs, the blueberries.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was way after the dungarees. And the oldest person, well, like in my area of the shift that we stayed in our berthing, he was a first class, and he had joined maybe a week after they had put the nav admin out to change to the N-dubs, and they started issuing them out of boot camp.
Yeah, I was part of my boot camp. We were one of the first ones to get it. I remember that.
Get the N-dubs?
Yeah, we were the first ones to get them in boot camp. Like the class right before us had gotten dungarees, and then we got them for free.
Okay, can I ask a question as a dumb Canadian? What are you guys talking about?
We're talking about the uniforms.
So, yeah, so if you, Zell, you can go online and look, you type in dungarees, and it's like this light blue, almost denim-looking dress shirt.
Okay, so it's
with your name tape and the U.S. Navy
it was like
stuff.
A work. It was the work uniform.
Right. So there was one uniform, then they switched at a certain time to a different style. Okay, that makes sense. I thought I don't know what the fuck you guys were talking about.
Uniforms. Yeah, the Navy switches uniforms like it's their main job.
Whatever's the cheapest, that's what they'll get.
Gotta spend that money.
Or whatever the most expensive.
Whatever they think is the best camo. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey man, we appreciate the stories, but we're gonna take one more call tonight for this episode. But we appreciate it. If you see anything else,
cheers, man.
When you're abroad, let us know.
Oh yeah, y'all have a good night.
Okay, thank you. Thanks to your wife as well for the story as well.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Oh yeah, of course. Bye.
Oh, 2 more UFOs and a ghost aboard.
Fucking military ghosts and military UFOs. Fucking
spooky shit.
I love hearing the military stuff because I feel like we're getting classified information whenever I'm told anything. So as this was the military, I'm like, this is classified information we're getting.
Even if it's not
here on cosmic channels.
I think it is, and it makes me feel important.
It makes me happy.
All right, last call of the night, I think, on Cosmic Channels. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hi.
Hello, where are you?
Is this the Cosmic Channel show?
Yes. Yeah. This is awesome.
Oh, good. Okay, good. My name is Steve. What do you want to talk about tonight?
Your name is what?
It's a Steve.
Steve?
Steve.
A Steve?
A Steve. You know, like a Steve. S-T-T-E-V-E.
Tell us a story, Steve. Steve.
You want to talk about are we talking about the dreams, or what do you want to talk about?
I know this. I'm going to kill this guy. I know who you are. I'm going to kill him.
It's funny for a guy who's so good at accents. He's so bad at accents.
He's so bad at accents at the same time.
What are you talking about?
Now it's changing. Now
it's Mario. Now we got Mario on the line.
It's me, Mario.
It's a Steve. I find this very offensive. Okay? You're derogatory to my people. It hurts my feelings.
You should have picked a better accent when you're calling in.
People.
Who is this man you're speaking out?
Okay, Steve.
Okay, Steve.
Okay.
Next time, pick a different one.
Next time, pick a better accent, Steve.
Okay, bye, Steve.
That is very disappointing for me.
Yeah, bye, Steve.
Should we take one more call? Hopefully it's not Steve again.
We'll take one more.
And if you didn't know, that was Andrew.
It was definitely Andrew.
Blatantly.
Definitely Andrew.
I hope it wasn't
Steve. I hope it wasn't Andrew.
I think he was about to say Andrew, and then he was like, Steve.
My name is
Steve. Steve. He's great at accents, but they called in and just butchered that one.
Yeah.
It morphed
he got
halfway
nervous.
through.
I bet he got nervous talking to the real stars of the show. That's what happened.
Yeah.
All right, last call of the night for real, unless it's a Steve again. Hello, Cosmic Channels.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, man?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Frankie, and I'm calling from LA, California.
Right on, Frankie. Thanks for the call.
We love LA.
I'm also the one who sent you the picture of Andrew with the alien guy on Instagram.
Oh, on the meme? Send in a meme?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where Andrew's bad theory came in, and then you had to put Andrew's face on Giorgio's head. Is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good shit.
Yeah.
That was funny.
We had a good laugh.
So, myself personally, I've never had like a UFO sighting or anything like that. But just recently, both my cousin and my mom, the same day, had like an apparition. And so my cousin, she gets off at midnight.
Yep.
And she lives in our back house, but she has to walk through the front. And we have our house with like Christmas stuff all over it. We have like a Christmas wreath. And she was walking by it, and she said that there was like a face in the middle of the wreath. And she was like, "Oh my God, like, I didn't know that they put pictures of like women on the wreath." So she thought that there was like a lady in the middle of the wreath, like just her face.
Just a face.
So she just thought it was really weird, and she was just looking at it like, okay. And then she had felt someone touch her shoulder, and then she like freaked the fuck out because it's midnight, and she's getting ready to go home, and someone touches her shoulder. She turns around, there's no one there, and then she looks back, and the picture of the girl on the reef is gone. So she was just like, what the fuck? And then she ran, to her house in the back. And I guess earlier on that day, so the next day comes, and she comes and she picks up all of her like Amazon packages from her house. And she had told my mom, and my mom kind of like freaked out because so that lady that my cousin saw on the reef is actually like a saint. And my mom, she's like really religious. I'm not, but she prays, and she has like a candle, and the candle has the saint on it. And I guess that day was her birthday, and my mom like prays to the candle every night and stuff like that. And that morning when she was like blowing out the candle and she said her prayer or whatever, we have like a clock that doesn't work, but it went off like as if it was like the hour passed and it goes off. And it went off, and she freaked out because that clock doesn't work. But she didn't think of it as anything until like my cousin told her what she saw, that night. But yeah, that's
so we've seen
what happened.
A ghost faced in the wreath.
Yeah.
Saintly ghost in the wreath. Well, I guess technically a saint.
Yeah.
You have to be dead to be a saint anyway, so it is a saint.
At least it wasn't like some type of demonic entity in the wreath.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Because if it was demonic, I would have moved out.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, but my mom said that I guess it's known for that saint to like make appearances and stuff like on her like birthday or whatever, which was on the 12th, so like 2 weeks ago or last week.
Okay. Oh, so on the Saints Day, it came like she's seen it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Huh. What? Okay. What? Did we know what saint, or did she suspect what saint?
From I believe it's called. She's Saint Guadalupe.
Saint Guadalupe.
Oh, Saint Guadalupe. Okay.
Dan, you familiar with Saint Guadalupe?
Well, I've heard of Saint Guadalupe.
You know,
it's one of the big ones. I mean, it's like there's only so many that I'm assuming your family is Latino or of Latin descent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like Guadalupe is a big one. I always hear that.
Yeah. I guess she like, I don't know. There's like a lot of stories from her, but basically she appeared one night on the 9th, and she told someone to like make a kind of like a memorial for her, and then she came back like a week later to like thank him or whatever, and she blessed him.
Okay.
But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really religious, so I didn't look into it. I kind of just, it didn't happen to me, so I didn't really bother looking into it. But My mom
Yeah,
freaked
I
out.
had to double check,
religious
but
and-
it's like I was pretty sure, but I wasn't. I had to check before I said anything. The Virgin of Guadalupe is the name for the Virgin Mary. It's another. It's just another title for her.
Gotcha. So big. That's a big one. Big saint.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, thanks for the call. Thanks for the story. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, no problem.
That's gonna be our last caller this week on Cosmic Channels. That was good. We had a lineup tonight right from the start.
Yeah, lines are on fire. Gotta put them out.
Hey, the show's got quite a few downloads so far. Actually, in the first few weeks.
Crushing it.
Well, thanks everyone who's downloading Cosmic Channels. We like doing it. We like giving a platform for you guys to call in and tell your stories.
100%. And if you know, there's no ads, there's no promotion, there's nothing on the show. And the only way to help it grow, tell one friend about Cosmic Channels for next week.
Tell two friends.
But if you get one, we'll be happy. If you get two, we'll be ecstatic. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun hearing calls. It's fun hearing all the stories of like stuff I've never experienced, and just hearing people like something happens to someone, and then years later, it's still in their mind. It still bothers them, right? So it's cool. It's cool to let people tell the story, and after a while, you start to get like a lot of like overlapping kind of stories, similar sightings, similar stuff. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if you haven't already, go give Cosmic Channels a follow on Instagram or Facebook. And if you're listening to the podcast version, you can watch the show live 6:30 p.m. Pacific time Sundays on Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah, and make sure to go leave us a 5-star review somewhere.
Oh yeah, Facebook, Apple, wherever you can get reviews. That helps the show, and will just help get some more calls, get some more exposure, keep those lines open.
Yeah, the more people we get to listen, the more crazy, weird stories we get to hear.
Boom. So fun. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Thanks, everybody.
Peace.
Till next week.
Cosmic Channels is brought to you by Big Theory Productions. The Cosmic Channels are now closed.